You action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the first wave of new G.I. Joe Ultimates figures from Super7. So there's 4 figures in all in the first wave. Cobra Commander here, which you can see a bad guy designated with the blue packaging. And then here is Duke with the G.I. Joe green packaging for the good guys. And then there's also the Battle Android Trooper, and Snake Eyes is also in this wave. So let's head on over to the review studio and take a closer look at these. Okay, so first of all, these come in your typical brown mailer type boxes that we always see with the Ultimates. Now, once you take them out of the brown mailer boxes, you have these, the actual packaging for the figures. These are your typical slip cases, again, like we always see with the Ultimates. And as I mentioned before, you've got the blue for Cobra and the green for G.I. Joe, the camo pattern. You've got dog tags with the names of the characters down below. On the sides, you have names, and then on the back, it's pretty much blank. And again, these are slip cases, so you just lift it off, and the figure is displayed inside, and then on the back you get a little bio for the characters, and then you also get some images. It's very reflective packaging, so sorry that the light is kind of reflecting off of there, but you get images from like the cartoon and stuff. So that's the Cobra B.A.T. This is the Snake Eyes figure, again clearly displayed. And then again on the back there you have the bio and the images from the cartoon. And then here are the other 2 figures, the Cobra Commander and the Duke. So again, you have the green camo pattern, and you lift it off, and there's the Duke figure clearly displayed. And then again on the back, you've got the bio for Duke, and images of Duke from the cartoon. And then finally, Cobra Commander. So Cobra Commander clearly displayed, along with all the accessories. And then again on the back there, the bio and images from the cartoon. Okay, so let's go on and open these up and take a closer look at the figures inside. Okay, so let's start off taking a look at the Duke figure and the accessories that come with Duke, which are a mixture of things that came with the original 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe Duke figure, as well as things that were seen in the cartoon. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the 3 different head sculpts that come with this figure. So you get the normal looking one, then you get one where the mouth is a little bit open, and then also he's wearing some communication gear that is sculpted on his head. And then finally you get this one where his mouth is wide open. I guess he's supposed to be screaming or such. And as far as the paint applications go, I mean, it's very basic. He's got very yellow hair, but there's no kind of wash or anything. He's got the yellow eyebrows, a pretty good skin tone, and blue eyes. So, you know, overall, looks pretty good. I would have maybe liked some wash in the hair, but I guess, you know, this is meant to look like the original figure, which again had very yellow hair. So less realistic, but it is in keeping with the original 3 3/4 inch figure. Now, one thing I want to note here is the heads do not stay on very tight. It's a very small ball joint there, and you know the head just kind of sits on there, but comes off very easily. It doesn't really fall off. You don't have to worry about it falling off per se, but it definitely is not on there super tight. So that's the screaming kind of head, and then here is the communication gear head sculpt. So yeah, and then going back to the regular one. Now, one other thing that you get is his helmet. So this is something the original toy had, just a general army helmet, which is not something you ever saw him wear in the cartoon, but it is included with the figure, and it does fit on the head nice and snug. Next up, the figure comes with 4 pairs of hands. So you get this one pair where you've got the left hand is pointing, and then the right hand is more of a saluting type gesture. Then you get a pair of closed-fisted hands. These are the ones that are attached to the figure when you take it out of the packaging. Then you get this pair of just normal grip hands, and then finally you get a pair of grip hands with a trigger finger for the weapon. One thing to note when switching out the hands, he has this watch for his left arm, and this is actually a separate piece. So when you pop off the hand, you want to make sure that, you know, this doesn't fall off because again, it just is basically held in place with the actual hand. So the best way to do it is just to put the watch around the peg of the hand and then plug in the hand so that it stays on there. But main thing is just note when you pop the hands off, that watch will come off. Okay, next up we have the backpack. So the backpack is made to look like the one that came with the original 3 3/4 inch figure. You've got the shovel, which does have some nice detailing. On the original toy, I think it was all just beige, but with this you've got the metallic silver on the shovel and on the handle as well with the brown wrappings. You've got some darker brown here for these folded up pieces that are sculpted on there, and then the rest of the pack is just a light beige, which is in keeping with the color of the original backpack. Now on the original toy you just had a peg that you plugged into the back of the figure. With this one you have actual straps that you will want to put around the figure's shoulders. So to get the backpack on, you just want to do it up on his arms, and the straps are a little bit, they're kind of made with a rubber material, so they will pull a little bit. And the backpack does fit a little bit loose. I would have actually preferred had they just done like the peg system like on the original figure, but as it is, you've got the straps and you can kind of play with it. And for the most part, I guess it stays on there pretty good, but maybe just a little bit loose. Actually, I take it back. It's not too bad. It actually fits on there pretty good, so I still maybe would have preferred like a peg that plugs into the back of the figure, but the straps do actually seem to work pretty good. Next we get this pair of binoculars, which is done with just black plastic, and it has the strap, and this is something again in keeping with what we got with the original figure, not something you really ever used in the cartoon, but this is an accessory that came with the original 3 3/4 inch figure. You can have him hold the binoculars if you want, or you can just put the strap around his neck, which is what I think most of us did as a kid with the original figure. He comes with a walkie-talkie. Now this is not something I remember coming with the original figure, nor is it something I remember him specifically using in the cartoon, so I almost feel like this is just an extra thing that they threw in there as a little digital readout, but otherwise it's done with just black plastic. You also have a little readout here at the bottom. So again, he comes with this walkie-talkie, and like I said, it's not unusual to see somebody in the army with a walkie-talkie, but it's not something I remember specifically to the original Duke figure. And then finally he comes with 2 weapons. So this is the weapon that you would see all the G.I. Joes use in the cartoon. They all basically carried the same type of rifle in the cartoon, whereas the figures themselves came with more unique weapons. But, it's kind of cool. We got a cartoon weapon, and I will say with this one, however, it came out of the packaging a little bit warped. You can see it's a little bit curved there in the middle. But like I said, it's still kind of cool that they gave it to us. Now, this is done with primarily a beige type plastic. There's a little bit darker paint on some of the areas on the weapon, but it's primarily just kind of this beige plastic that they use. And then the second weapon that they included with the figure is the one that came with the original 3 3/4 inch figure. I don't know what this particular rifle is called, but it is done with just a generic army green color, no kind of paint washes or anything. So again, made it look very much like the original plastic gun that came with the original figure. Okay, now looking at the figure itself, so the only area where I have like any kind of paint blemish is here on his neck on the right side. There's a little yellow splotch there, I guess, that came off from the hair. But otherwise, it's pretty solid. Now, they are basic paint applications. The figure is made to look very plasticky like, I guess in keeping with the original toy is the idea behind it. So no kinds of wash or shades or anything like that. So you've got the good skin tone, blue eyes, the yellow hair on the head, as I mentioned before. And then he's got the more kind of mustard yellow shirt. He's got the symbol here, the jump wings, I believe is what the symbol's called. So he's got that, which is in keeping with the original toy. He's got these orange stripes on his shoulders, which I'm not sure what the significance of those are, but again, I believe that's in keeping with the original toy. One thing that's not in keeping with the original toy is the bandolier, which is a separate piece made with the rubber material. On here it's done brown, and that doesn't look bad, but on the original figure it was actually green, so I don't know why they went with the brown color. And then you have the yellow on the buckle there. You've got the belt, which is the same color as the bandolier, and you've got the yellow belt buckle, which is pretty plain, no symbols or anything there on the belt buckle. So that all looks pretty good. He's got the pockets on the shirt, which again are sculpted very much like the original figure. The sleeves are kind of rolled up. Again, he's got the watch, which is removable on this one. And then he's just got the bright green army pants, no kind of wash again, very clean looking. And then he's got the brown boots with the lighter kind of yellowish color there, which again is kind of in keeping with the original figure. And here's a look at the figure with all the accessories that came with the original G.I. Joe 3 3/4 inch Duke. So if you wanted to kind of create the look of that original figure, you know, this is how it kind of comes off, which, you know, overall I think they did a pretty good job. And Duke stands about 7 1/4 inches tall, you know, with the helmet on, maybe a little bit taller than that, but definitely under 7.5 inches. And here's a comparison with Hasbro's G.I. Joe classified Duke figure, and you can see the Super7 one, which is a 7-inch scale figure, is much taller. Now, just in case you're wondering, I've given my classified Duke that cartoon accurate rifle that came with the Super 7 figure. I don't really like the rifle that came with the classified Duke, so I thought this might be a good stand-in. You know, being the Super 7 figure is a 7-inch scale figure, you know, might be a hair on the big side, but overall I think it actually works pretty good. And I don't have the original A Real American Hero Duke figure, 3 3/4 inch Duke figure, but here is a comparison with the 25th anniversary 3 3/4 inch Duke figure that Hasbro did. Again, I don't have an original Duke. For articulation, the joints, I'm going to say on this one, are a little bit on the loose side. Not like so loose that he can't hold his arms up or anything. But I definitely, especially like here on the head, as I mentioned, it just kind of barely stays on that ball joint. So the arms are pretty good overall. The arms are actually pretty tight. But then like the legs feel a little bit loose as well. So I could see maybe that becoming a problem over time. So just something to be wary of. But as far as articulation goes, you can turn the head all the way around. He really can't look down very much, and he can only look up about that much. So, and you get a little bit of head pivot. With the arms, you can get the arm out pretty good there, and you've got rotation there at the shoulder. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got a single hinged elbow, which you do have rotation there at the elbow, and then you have the rotation with the hands, and you have the hinges on the hands, so up and down movement. He has an ab crunch joint, so you've got some back and forth movement there. That's about as much forward as he can move there at the ab crunch. You also get a waist swivel. With the legs, he can do the splits about that much. So, you know, not as good as on the original figure, I don't think, but, you know, okay. You can get the leg forward pretty good, and then you can only do the leg back about that much. You get a swivel up here around this ball joint, so you don't have a true thigh swivel, but you do get rotation around that ball joint up there. And then with the knees, you get single hinged knees, so you can bend his knee about that much. You do not get rotation at the knee, but you do get a boot cuff swivel, and then you get hinges on the feet. Again, these joints are a little bit on the loose side, so I could see over time they might get more loose and be kind of a pain, so just something to be wary of. But you do get ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, now let's take a look at the other figures in the wave. I'm not going to do quite as in-depth a look at the other figures, since like things like paint applications and the basic construction, the joints, they all have I would say a little bit on the loose side with the ankle joints. I've already had some issues with Duke kind of falling forward with the loose ankles. Same thing with like the legs and the heads. The arms are pretty tight on these, but definitely I feel like joints could become an issue with these figures down the road. But let me just go over some key points with some of these other figures. Okay, so let's start off with Cobra Commander here. So he probably has the most accessories of any of the figures in this first wave. He comes with 2 different head sculpts. The only difference though is one has the white stripe on the top of the helmet and one does not. And all the accessories that he comes with are primarily based on the cartoon. He doesn't really come with any toy-centric accessories. This one accessory, this snake with the globe, is actually from an advertisement for the old Atari Parker Brothers video game, G.I. Joe video game. So in the advertisement that you would see in comic books, you would see Cobra Commander holding this up in the air. So he actually has a special hand that you can use that plugs into the bottom there for him to hold that. And everything else, though, is basically from the cartoon. So both of the guns that he has were seen in the cartoon. This one is kind of small and has the Cobra symbol and stuff, but he doesn't have like his blow dryer gun or anything like that. This rifle was seen in, I believe, the opening credits for one of the seasons of G.I. Joe. Binoculars that you would see him use in one or two of the episodes. I don't remember exactly. I remember it kind of, but I don't remember exactly. But like, I think this changed people into animals or something. I don't know. I forget. But it was like one of the gadgets that Cobra used in one of the episodes. This is the little remote control device used in the mass device episode where, or maybe it was the Weather Dominator. I forget. I think it was the mass device one where they had Duke in the arena. And then this is another Cobra control panel. Now, he also comes with this Cobra staff, which he has a special hand to hold that one because it's very thin, and that looks pretty good. And then he has this gun. I think this is the one they had in the G.I. Joe movie, the cartoon movie. And then he also has this cape, which is just basically has like a bendy wire in it, so you just kind of fold it around his neck. The only thing I don't like about this cape is, and it may be cartoon accurate, I don't remember, but it's kind of a pinkish material as opposed to hard red, and I would have rather it been a hard red color as opposed to this kind of pinkish color. But again, that might be how it appeared in the cartoon, so I'm not entirely sure. He's got the smaller Cobra symbol on his jacket, which I think again is in keeping with the cartoon. And you know, overall it does look very cartoon accurate, though again, just like with the Duke figure, very clean, you know, and it looks like just looks more like an action figure than trying to be realistic in any way. And you have some metallic silver here on the faceplate. Next up, we've got Purple Snake Eyes. So this is totally based on the cartoon. This outfit, you know, with the purple highlights on the pouches and stuff, that's all based on how he appeared in the Mass Device cartoon. This is essentially based on the Commando version of Snake Eyes, but again, everything about this is based on the cartoon. So you get that G.I. Joe cartoon type rifle, just like Duke came with. Again, all the Joes use those in the cartoon. He has a walkie-talkie, again, like Duke came with. Probably the coolest accessory that he comes with is a jetpack, which you can probably use, or not probably, you can use with your G.I. Joe classified figures if you want to. So that's definitely kind of cool. It is purple, but still it's kind of cool that they included that and that you can use it. There are no like blast effects or anything that you can attach to it, but still it's kind of cool that they gave you the jetpack. And just like with Duke's backpack, it just fits around the figure with the straps. Now, you also get this canister from the Mass Device episode. I wouldn't be surprised if Super7 ends up doing like a glow-in-the-dark red Snake Eyes version of the Snake Eyes when he's like radioactive as he appeared in the cartoon. So I wouldn't be surprised. They might do a black version of this one as well. I wouldn't be surprised down the road. But definitely knowing how Super7 likes to do glow-in-the-dark stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a radioactive Snake Eyes at some point. But you get this canister, again, from the Mass Device episode. You get this, I don't remember exactly where, again, that's from the cartoon, but I don't remember what episode or anything. You don't get any toy-centric accessories. You don't get his Uzi. You don't get the ammo pack or anything like that that came with the original action figure. This is all stuff based on the cartoon, including we got Timber, a version of Timber, so he has some articulation. You can move the legs. He's got some knee joints. You know, the tail is articulated. The head has some movement here, so you can rotate the head and stuff. The jaw does not open, so he just has that one facial expression. But, you know, overall, I kind of like Hasbro's Timber a little bit better, but overall, you know, they did a pretty good job here. And it is cool that they included a Timber with him. And real quick, here's a look at that Ultimates jetpack on a G.I. Joe classified figure, and you can see it works pretty good. The worst thing is it's purple, but, you know, it fits on there pretty good. And I always think of Stalker when I think of jetpacks, just because of the opening sequence in the original cartoon, where Stalker's seen using the jetpack and he throws the dynamite out and shoots it for no real reason, but it still was a cool scene. Okay, next up we've got the Battle Android Trooper, the final figure in the first wave, and this is probably the one I think looks the best I like the bright yellows with the black, the dark black, and the metallic silver. Those all pop nicely on the figure. You've got the grenades that are sculpted on there, and you've got like this black stripe. So I think they did a really good job with this one. He's got the Cobra symbol there on the side. You know, the red, it's kind of a orangey red on the faceplate, but that looks pretty good. Again, I really like how they've done the metallic silver. I actually think this bat looks better than Hasbro's a little bit. So this is the only Ultimate figure that I actually think looks better than like the classified counterparts. So I think they did a good job with this. Now he's got a backpack that has, you know, arm accessories that you can put in there. These are removable. They just clip in. So you get 3 extra arm attachments. You get the claw, you get this laser tape thing, and then you get like this drill thing. So, and those just pop into the backpack. And then it's kind of weird how they've done the backpack, because they don't have holes on the back. You actually have holes up on the top of his shoulders that this pack will just kind of, not holes even, but these kind of indents. So you just basically clip them on like that, and for the most part the pack seems to stay on there fairly good. I haven't had too much issue with it falling off. Looks good. You've got the translucent plastic with all the designs there in his chest. You've got the grenades that are sculpted in there. So he's got this piece here. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. And then he's got a working gun holster with a blaster that comes with it. He's got the rifle that, you know, is what you would see the bats use. And then again, you've got nice sculpting detail there. Now besides the regular head, you get this battle damaged head where you've got some electricity coming out of it, and the eyepiece is kind of cracked and everything. And then you get this second neck piece that is essentially mimicking the head being completely blown off. And then to go along with that, you also get this battle damaged arm piece. And then you also get just multiple pairs of hands. Now for some comparisons, here's the classified Commando Snake Eyes with the Ultimates version. Here is the classified Timber with the Ultimates Timber, and even though, you know, the Ultimates are 7-inch scale figures, you can see Hasbro's Timber is actually about the same size as the Super 7 one. Now this is Hasbro's first Timber. Hasbro's actually done 2 versions of Timber so far for the classified line, but I don't have that second one. Now here's the classified Battle Android Trooper with the Ultimates one. Again, I actually like the way the Ultimates one looks. I like the brighter yellows as opposed to this kind of orange yellow. I like that there's the clear plastic piece over the chest. I also like the red faceplate over the silver. And then here's the classified regular Cobra Commander, and then this is the Regal Cobra Commander with my custom hooded head sculpt. And again, this Ultimates one definitely looks more like Cobra Commander from the cartoon, but of course we don't get the hood. Here's just a quick look at that custom hooded head sculpt on the Ultimate figure, which again, it really doesn't work very well. And the reason why Brian Flynn said that he didn't include a hooded head sculpt with this figure is because Hasbro wouldn't let him. Okay, so overall, you know, I don't think these are bad figures, but I definitely don't like them as much as I like the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified line. Out of the 4 figures, I think the Battle Android Trooper is the best looking, and in fact, the only one that I think actually looks better than the classified versions. Snake Eyes is my least favorite. I really don't like the look of that one. I know it's based on his appearance in the Mass Device cartoon, but it is my least favorite of the 4 figures. Cobra Commander is definitely a pretty solid figure. Duke, I don't know. There's just something off about Duke to me that I'm not as fond of. But I do like with Duke that he comes with accessories that are both reminiscent of the original toy as well as the cartoon. But really, out of the 4, that's the only one that comes with toy-centric accessories. All the others just come with stuff from the cartoon. And then the one other area where I have some concern is with the joints, especially things like the ankles. They definitely feel loose on these figures. I've already had some issues with the Duke figure just falling forward because the ankles just kind of fall forward. So just something to be wary of. But there are cool things about this line. I like some of the accessories. I like, you get pretty cool, unique accessories, things from the cartoons and stuff. I like the cartoon accurate rifles that the Joes use. I always like those rifles, so I do like that. And then like with the Battle Android Trooper, I actually think that one looks better than the classified version. That's the only one in this first wave that I actually think looks better than the classified counterparts. But I definitely do like the bright yellow colors and such on that figure. So this wave is available now. You can get it at places like our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. The cost of these are about $55 each. So, they do have the hefty price that all Super 7 Ultimates have. But if you want to add these to your collection, you can do so now. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts about everything I talked about here down in the comment section below. Like the video if you're so inclined, and if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.